what's ahead for the housing market? That's something that I've been asked for. In other words, people ask me that here and there when I meet people, when I meet clients. Even colleagues ask me, what's ahead of the real estate market? Where do you think it's going? So I want to talk about that today. And I just want to mention here, Luis with Center Real Estate. I hope you like these videos, follow them. I put these together just for information. I believe that knowledge is power. And whether you're looking to buy, sell, or ever want to own real estate, it's good to be informed of what's going on in the market, what changes are occurring, because they could impact you one way or another. But today I want to talk about what's ahead for the housing market here in the US. So there's different things that have occurred. Although experts believe that the market has shifted to benefit the buyers, so it's turned from a seller's market into a buyer's market. It's not really there 100%. It's not changed to a complete full buyer's market, especially not in El Paso, Texas, which is an area that I service. It's been a funny market, and it's been a funny shift. Definitely shifted, but it's been funny. So just to give you like an insight nationally, it's talking nationally, existing home sales have increased to we're about 4.7 million. That's like a negative 23% year over year. So like in the last year, at the end of the year, the pricing or the home sales dropped drastically, and it's something that was felt locally, was felt nationally, right? So what do you think? If the home sales are dropping, that means that prices are also going down because there's less demand. But in reality, the median price point for homes nationally went up. And nationally, it went up to about 384, 800. Locally in El Paso, our median price point stayed pretty flat. So though the market slowed down, prices did not drop. In some markets, in some specific pockets of the city, you still saw an increase in home values, right? So that's just kind of, like I mentioned, it's a little bit of funny market, but it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. We're not seeing a market crash or anything like that yet, if at all. So what happens is inventory has been tight. Inventory has been really slow to come up for sale. Homes have been slow to come for sale. New home builders, for a while, they couldn't get homes on the ground or finished because of lack of inventory. I mean, infrastructure, like supply chain, things were delayed. So that was a problem. And now they're kind of caught up. There's inventory coming, but not a lot. There's still a shortage. If I have buyers, if we have clients, there's not a lot of options for people to look at. So that is still causing the market to be very stable. And it's not a full buyer's market, because if a nice listing comes in the market priced well, that home is going to go with multiple offers and probably over asking price. That's what we're seeing in a lot of areas. And so going to like single family homes, something that's been very volatile has been like lumber. So just lumber alone added like an average about $14,000 to the price of a home, because lumber prices have been still going up. They did come down, and it's been volatile, meaning it's going up and down. It's not very stable, so that's causing an impact on the home values. And then looking at that, because of that's one of the main reasons. But there's, like I mentioned, a supply chain problem happened in 2022, 2021, so that delayed that. And the new home starts were about 1.4 million last year. So that is like a negative 7.7% in new home starts year over year. So instead of more homes being built, there's less homes being built. And what that tells us is we already had a shortage of inventory before 2019, 2020, 2021. We had a shortage of inventory, 2022 shortage of inventory, and we're still in that same place. There's less homes that are on the ground for people who need and are going to need a home, right? So the market outlook on that is that markets could be going up and down right now, but in the long run, that's still going to drive prices up. If there's not enough homes, prices are going to be driven up a little bit, right? And then home equity, something that is it's a very good thing, is impactful for a lot of people, is there is their home equity. That's the difference. That's your home value minus what you owe on the house. That equals home equity. So on average across the nation, the home equity increased about $60,000. That's a huge number for a lot of people, especially in a market like El Paso. That could be like 50% of your house in instances. So some homes went up that much, but $60,000 on average is a lot of money to have in that home equity. It's a good thing. I don't think the US has ever been in a place like that for at least 30, 40 years. And then the average rents also have increased. So the equity being high calls for people to say, hey, they have options to go and buy another house. They could sell that, make a profit, and buy another house. And then something that we're seeing a lot is that home rentals have increased. Average increase year over year for home for rental, if you're renting a house, was up 14%. Okay, so when you're renting a house, it's going to go up in value. So what people are saying, well, let's not rent for this price. We could go and buy a house. And that's true for most markets in the US right now. It is still cheaper to, even with the high rates, it's still cheaper for you to buy a house than for you to go out and rent a house. And then something different is like your stability. You own a house, that rent is really, that mortgage is not going up, but your rent could go up year over year, and it could go up substantially, right? So that's something to look at. That is something that you have to consider when you're deciding to buy a rent. But going back to that, the increase in rents, what that's going to do is gonna drive up the demand for homes, because people are not going to want to buy. They're going to want to. They're not going to want to rent. They're going to want to buy a house. Look, something I also want to talk about is where people are going to. So I, like I mentioned, my market is Texas. I live in El Paso, Texas. So this is a market that is looking at growth. People are coming to this state. There's tons of people coming. Most of the clients that we have right now seem to be out-of-state clients. So that there's a lot of growth, there's a lot of demand, and that's affecting the market here locally. If you look at different markets in California, for example, where people are leaving the state, those markets are experiencing some reduction in pricing, and it seems to be temporary because they still have a high demand in housing. But when people are leaving, there's a little bit less demand in other states like Texas, so that's going to be a difference in the price point. So right now the US is experiencing a massive move where people are moving from different states to different states, whether it's for political reasons, for financial reasons, for taxes. There's tons of reasons why people are moving, and we're experiencing that. So it is affecting the market that we're in, and any market in the US at the moment. So something also to consider, and I want to bring this up, for years people have been saying millennials, they don't want to move out of their parents' basement, they don't want to buy a house, they just want to live on at a Starbucks lobby. So things are changing too. Millennials have gotten older, including myself. I'm one of the older millennials. So the millennial buyers right now, they're starting to come up. The youngest are maybe in their 20s to early 30s. So that's the group of people that are looking to buy right now. And the demand is enormous for the US. And like I mentioned before, there's still a low supply of homes. So if all these things, accounting for all these things, what you're going to see is that demand for homes is going to continue to increase. That's what this video is telling you. The demand for homes is going to continue to increase. So it's going to be something real bad has to happen for the market to drop and values to just plummet. Like I mentioned, there's price adjustments happening in markets. Markets are being adjusted, but overall, and in the long term, in the next year or so, values should still go up according to this information I'm giving you. So there you have it. I hope you enjoy this video. Share it if you know of anybody who thinks that home values are dropping and it's not worth investing in real estate today. Send in this video and let me know what you think in the comments.